Why not just turn on the ones that you shut down here?
Well, in some respects, you can't because we have refineries here in the United States. This is a lot of people don't understand this part of the oil market. Oil is not just oil, right? There are lots of different grades of oil. There's oil of all types.
Crude, shale, Brent.
Okay, no, well, and I mean, crude oil comes in many forms. It comes everything from very ultralight sweet stuff that we get out of fracking, produces a very light oil. Okay, and has a lot of low. I'm a chemist, and I've actually worked in the oil industry a little bit. I can explain this in very kind of broad, basic terms. Oil is, they're nothing. These hydrocarbons are straight chain hydrocarbons, so simple alkanes from C3 to C5 to C8 to C12 to C20, right? Where it's a straight carbon chain with a whole bunch of hydrogens on it. Very simple. If you've taken any high school chemistry,
organic chemistry was my favorite class in college.
Right. So methane, ethane, propane, butane, C1, C2, C3, C4. Light crude produces a lot of is heavily weighted towards the low end stuff. So it's good for making gasoline. It's good for making JP4 jet fuel. It's good for making, even somewhat making diesel fuel. And not really. It's really better for making, and organic precursors for things like, isopropanol and ethylene diamine and all these things because they're short straight chain hydrocarbons. There's a high percentage of them. You don't have to crack them. They're right there. All you got to do is fractionally distill them and get the ones you want. On the other side is heavy sour crude. And now sweet and sour just means it is acidic versus basic. Sweet crude is basic. Sour crude is acidic because acids taste sour and bases taste sweet. So heavy sour crude is more heavily the higher percentage of the higher straight chain hydrocarbons. So all the waxes. So C10 through C25. Guess what? More BTUs per gallon and per barrel in heavy crude versus light crude because a lot more energy stored in
all the bonds,
in dodecane as opposed to methane. You can look all this stuff up. It's not hard. I'm not bullshitting you. Go get yourself a CRC manual. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, the Russians produce medium and heavy sour. The Russian Urals grade is medium and heavy sour crude. Okay. The Venezuelans, all of our Gulf Coast refineries were built by Citgo to refine the sludge, the ultra heavy stuff that Venezuela produces that practically has to be heated to get it out of the ground. It's so heavy. Their refineries are all designed to crack that stuff. They can't crack light sweet. You can't fill those refineries with light sweet crude. They have to get medium sour, medium heavy crude. They have to get medium or heavy crude. So when Trump took Venezuelan oil off the market, I literally said, and that means that they're going to be buying. It means we're going to be buying Russian Urals grade, right? And 2 weeks later, big article on Zero Hedge. Oh, this is funny. The Americans are now buying hundreds of thousands of barrels of Russian Urals grade per day to fill the Gulf Coast refineries, which I already knew because I understand basics of the oil market here in the United States. Okay. So there's nobody else that can really supply that oil other than the Russians. The Iranians can do they have some of the medium sour stuff. They mostly produce light sweet over in the Middle East, which is why and a lot of refineries around the world are designed, are tuned to that. The Russian refineries aren't. They're tuned to the stuff that they produce. So that's why the Russians, have tons of diesel fuel and all the rest of it. So
not as simple as
it's not as simple as oil is oil.
Got
it.
So
most people in Congress have no idea about any of this stuff. The medium sours, the really heavy crude, there's really heavy